Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button down there and also click on the bell to get notified of the future videos. Videos, mostly reviews, occasional build and the occasional giveaway as well. If you don't get notified of the things you need to do for the giveaways, then you'll never know about them. Today we're going to have a look at a kit that we sell in our shop. That's shop.hobbylinkinternational.com. This kit's actually, by the time you watch this video, it'll have been in one of the giveaways. We're going to give away one of these. This kit is by ClearProp. It's one of their advanced kits. This is 172nd Tupolev Tu-143. The Tupolev Tu-143 was a Soviet unmanned reconnaissance aircraft in service with the Soviet Army and a number of Warsaw Pact and Middle East allies during the late 70s and 80s. It contained a reconnaissance pod that was retrieved after flight. It was introduced in 1976, had a range of about 60 to 70 kilometres and flew at low level. It was truck launched with a jet assisted takeoff and recovered by parachute. The initial version carried film cameras, but later versions carried TV or radiation detection payload with data relayed to a ground station over a data link. About 950 units were produced in the late 70s and 80s. It was used by Syria in reconnaissance missions over Israel and Lebanon during the 1982 Lebanon War, as well as by Soviet forces in Afghanistan, and reportedly has been used in the current Russian-Ukrainian conflict as well. Okay, let's see what's in the box. This is Tupolev Tu-143, basically cruise missile type thing, reconnaissance, used for reconnaissance though. 172nd, reference number 72004 from ClearProp. This is one of their advanced kits, so there's some extras in here, but not at the same level as the expert kits. Painting options on the side here. Ukrainian, Soviet Union, Romanian and Czech Republic versions. A couple of 3D, or 4 3D rendered images on the back. Handy thing here. 55 plastic parts, 5 photo etch parts, a brass pitot tube, and end up with something, about 4 inches long and an inch and a bit wide. So let's see what we get inside the box. So we get instructions on glossy paper, resealable bag, Decals sheet. Let's just quickly this up. So inside here we get, so there's your photo etch with 5 parts, Decals sheet with 4 different nationality insignias on it. A couple of clear parts, which must be to allow you to do the, basically had a camera window in the bottom, so that's obviously to allow you to do that. 2 frets. Let's look at the bigger one. You get a stand with it as well. Let's see, there's no alignment pins on the part, so you'll have to put some little tabs in yourself, or just be very careful putting it together to get everything lined up nicely. Some really fine panel lines on it though. It's like a little probe there. Engine intake in 2 parts by the looks of it. Again, very fine panel lines, and I can see there's rivet details on the outside here as well. So very nicely done detail on that one. And then straight from sprue A to, what's this one? This one's sprue, yeah, the clear one is sprue B, I think. Sprue C with all the small parts. It's like there's wheels as well, so maybe you can stand it on legs. Along straight parts, not sure what that is. Again, nice detail on there for 172nd. Let's look at the instructions. I'll quickly go through the instructions after this, just roughly, quickly, step by step, and have a look at some of the close-up look at some of the main parts, so you can see the detail for yourself. Paints named and called out in Humble. Basically, a bit there about the Tupolev 143. Yeah, it's basically a short-range tactical reconnaissance. Then you got, yeah, you can do it in flight, basically on stands, and also you can make like a transportation dolly and stand it on that as well. So you've got a few options there. 4 steps. Yes, Blue B is the clear parts. You get 2 of those with 2 different options. Doesn't tell you why you would choose one over the other yet, though, not at this stage. Basically two different, should we say, layouts of the windows basically on the bottom. More small parts. So it all looks nice. So that's the stencils going on there. This is how you build for this step 7 onwards, how you build the stand. That's part here for make a panel line using a template from a photo etch sheet. And then there you go. So I'm just trying to see Ukrainian Air Force 2012, Russian Air Force early 2000s. Just trying to see if there's a difference in the panel underneath where the cameras are. And in these images I can't easily see a difference just yet. Czechoslovak Air Force, Romanian Air Force. It's all pretty neat. We'll have a look at those. Close-up look at some of the parts. But seems to be quite a nicely detailed little kit of a very unusual subject. I've never seen one of these in plastic before. There's been one other kit of this reconnaissance aircraft that was made in resin by Ludek V's in 2011 and reboxed by Decals models in 2012. This is what we have here is the only kit of this aircraft in plastic that I'm aware of. So, in the box, this kit is a ClearProp's advanced kit, so it contains more than a bit of plastic, but not the whole range of loads of resin and such like. So in the box, we've got 55 plastic parts, 5 PE parts, a brass probe, painting masks, Decals sheet, and a full colour instruction sheet. Okay, so on to the build steps. To start with, you can finish this kit in 3 different ways. First is in flight on a stand, and it has the JATO pod underneath. Secondly, you can do it on a transport trolley, and thirdly, you can do it on undercarriage stands. Once you've decided which of those ways you're going to finish it, there'll be some steps that you're going to skip. So moving on, step 1, where you put the fuselage halves together, trap 2 intake halves between them. You also get turbine blades to go at the back of the intake, and there's also an exhaust, so you can't see straight through where the engine should be. Note there are no alignment tabs for the fuselage halves, so you'll have to be careful with that. Moving down steps 2 and 3, you're only going to do one of these. Basically, you've got a choice. This is where you're sort of putting a simulation of the camera lenses. And you either have 2 camera lenses or 3 camera lenses, depending on which version you want to build. Then move to the right with step 4, and basically part B1 or B2 is a clear part, and you're matching that up with the camera lenses inside, and possibly you'd put the supplied masking sheets on it this time as well. Over the page to step 5, we add the wings, a few other small parts. We also add the nose we made in step 4, and the brass pitot tube goes on the front of that in this step. Then down to step 6, and again we have some choices to make depending which option we're building. You can optionally add the undercarriage, the legs basically, or you can add the undercarriage doors in the closed position. On to the next page, step 7, putting together the jet assisted takeoff pod if you need to build it. Step 8, put the stand together, again if you need to build it. Step 9, the transport trolley, if you're going for that option only. Step 10, adding a single piece of photo etch to the fuselage. And step 11 is basically scribing a panel line using a template that's on the photo etch sheet. And then the last two steps, step 12 and 13, you might do one of these. Step 12 is put it on its transport trolley. Step 13 is put it on the stand to simulate in-flight. It's as simple as that, and that's you finished. The only bit you have to do is drill a hole if you're going to do the in-flight stand. Okay, paints and decals. The painting guide gives you 4 options. They're all light grey. Colours are named and called out in Humbrol colours. Extra painting steps are called out as needed throughout the instructions. For the decals, you get 1 sheet to show you where the stencils go, and then 2 sheets to show you your 4 options, which are for the Ukrainian, Russian, Czechoslovak and Romanian Air Force. The decals are printed in Ukraine by Decograph, and they look to be in register with good colours, and there's quite a lot of decals to go on here for an aircraft of this size. Okay, so an overall conclusion. It's a well detailed little kit, nice level of detail on it as well. Finely recessed panel lines. The downside is there are no alignment pins on the fuselage halves to get things lined up correctly. You'll have to pay a bit of attention to that, possibly put your own little tabs inside there to line things up. It's an interesting model, not commonly known. I had to look it up when I ordered the kit. If this sort of thing interests you, then it'll easily replace the resin kit that is the only other option, and my guess is that resin kit is really hard to find anyway. So overall, a very nice little kit. Might be a good thing for people moving on to the next level with photo etch, just a very few photo etch parts and the fuselage alignment to deal with. And it'll make a nice little display on its in-flight stand on your desk. And don't forget, you can buy this from our online shop, and we try to keep our prices as competitive as we can.